Hello everyone, my name is Joshua. This is the 152nd video on my video journal series. Today's date is Friday, the 10th of July, 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good, thank you. And yes, I'm back in the shack. Hopefully this will only last for a few more nights because my brother's currently doing some studying in the garage and I don't want to disturb him. But today I wanted to focus on my recollections from the city, because today I went to the city and I want to share some things that I noticed from the city. And first thing I want to mention is that I did go to McDonald's. It was the one opposite the event cinemas on George Street, and I saw they actually had the trays. In fact, a week ago when I went to Warringah, I noticed that there was a McDonald's there that still had the trays. Same thing with Mossman. So there's clearly McDonald's stores that still have the trays. I was wrong, when I made my video on fast food and saying that, oh, well, McDonald's don't have the trays anymore. They clearly do. But it's just that, some restaurants, I guess when you press eat in, they still give you the takeaway bag. I guess it just depends on the specific store. But maybe they're just slowly bringing it back in. But, I'm not complaining. I love the trays. Even though I got takeaway, when I saw those trays, I was like, yes! Um, but KFC, I bet you KFC don't do the trays anymore. I haven't seen a tray at KFC in ages. I think Red Rooster, they still do trays. I might be wrong, but I've seen trays at other fast food restaurants as well. I don't think Hungry Jack's though. I haven't seen trays at Hungry Jack's, so it seems like McDonald's is the only one that's popping into my head. I know Ogalo. I've been to Ogalo in the city. They still have not trays, but they give you like plates, which is nice. Same thing with Oportos. They're very fancy. They give you plates to eat your meal on. And yeah, I got the McSmart meal from McDonald's with the cheeseburger and free nuggets, small fries, and a small drink for, I think it was $6.95 or $7.95. I got to check my receipt, but yeah, it was a pretty good deal. I always like getting the McSmart meal, and yeah, I just ate in the, I guess, dining section of Town Hall Square. And yeah, I just got out my camera, and unfortunately, it was slightly sprinkling, and I didn't want my camera to get ruined, so it kind of limited the amount of footage I could get. But I went around Darling Harbour and Town Hall. Yet again, I know I go over those areas a lot, but I like those areas because yet again, they have like a lot of change within those areas. You see new buildings prop up, new mixed commercial and office space, especially in Darling Harbour, and a new Harbourside um, Harbourside building. Because they demolished the original Harbourside Mall, and now they're going to build a shopping centre, but they're going to build like high rises on top. That's still in construction. I forgot what it's called. Is it still called Harbourside Shopping Centre, or is it called something different? I forgot. But anyway, yeah, there's new buildings, and Darling Harbour's kind of like Vegas in a sense that it keeps on like reinventing itself. They seem to like demolish, buildings every 20 years or so, and they like to put like new buildings up. Now it's just all skyscrapers. 20 years ago it looked like completely different. I could go on, like Sega World, IMAX Theatre, the original convention building, but I'm getting too ahead of myself here. And yeah, what did I see around the city? Same old, really. I like obviously going, around the town hall area because you get like a lot of buses and people crossing, and it makes for like very aesthetic footage, especially along York Street where, QVB is. There's like a few bus stops there. You get to see some like double-decker buses, and you get to see like all the old buildings along York Street. So it makes for like some really nice shots. And Oh yeah, with trains, yeah. Obviously I've been taking photos and videos of not just buses but also trains and other transport vehicles because it's another thing that I guess, in the future people will look back on and saying, oh wow, those were the cars we drove, those were the buses we caught, the trains we caught as well. I like to take, you know, footage and photos of things that are likely going to change in the future. Um, it's all about documenting that change, that small change. Like even payphone booths. And, obviously I still like going to payphone booths, and sometimes bringing my own phone. So it's like a walkie talkie. I know I'm very silly like that. And you see some like very fancy phone booths in like the Rocks. There's one phone booth in the Rock that looks like an old London telephone booth, like the red one. I forgot it. I can most probably pinpoint it on Google Maps. Um, it's like it's sort of in the Rocks area. It's like in I can't really describe it, but if you've been to the Rocks, you will know what I mean. There is like an old school phone booth there. I like going there because it's really nice. It's something you don't see every day. Like one of us like walk-in phone booths. We don't really have them here in Sydney. I guess in London they do. But anyway, um, and yeah, pretty much still the same old buses on the roads, cars even. What was another thing I spotted in the city today? Maybe through my footage. Um, Nothing much. I know I'm trying to keep these videos interesting, but yet again, sometimes in the short term, there's not much change. And, it's, I guess, only really in the long term when you see like massive amounts of change, especially in the city. It takes a while for things to develop. Um, yeah, I enjoyed the McDonald's McSmart meal. That was pretty good. Should I give a food review? Maybe I should. For value, I'll say it was pretty good value. Obviously, pretty good value. Fries and nuggets were all pretty tasty. Same thing with the cheeseburger. Out of 10, if I had to factor in taste, value, and I guess service, it will be a 7 out of 10. Service was pretty good. Came in quickly. No complaints there, and the drink was also pretty good. It was nice and cold, and yeah, I like going to McDonald's. And here's another thing I noticed about McDonald's. McDonald's stores always sort of update every decade or so. Like if you go to a McDonald's store now, it will be completely different to when you went to a McDonald's store 20 years ago, or even 20 years in the future. That's another thing I want to sort of like document. McDonald's menus and fast food menus. We don't really think about what a McDonald's store looked like 20 or 30 years ago. Because who thinks of that apart from me? Um, but if you were to look back on like people going to McDonald's in like the 80s and 90s, it's a time capsule piece. You can see the old menu prices or how everything was so cheap back then. And obviously I can't walk into McDonald's with a big camera and start filming everywhere. It's a complete invasion of privacy. But I want to, I guess, like document, these sorts of promotions that they do. Because if you ask someone 20 years in the future what the McSmart meal was, people go like, what was that? If like it's like me bringing up a random fast food promotion from like 20 years ago. No one's going to care about it. But I feel like these things need to be documented, the small things, because these things can easily be forgotten, and it's a piece of history, even though it's a very small piece of history and only really useful to people like me. But it's still history. And throughout my lifetime, especially when I've been in the city, I've only started really going to the city and sort of like taking pictures and videos for only around maybe 5 years, or ever since around late 2021, early 2022-ish. So I haven't really, I guess, seen much change. It wasn't until like maybe 2019ish before I really, started to take a lot of pictures and video. Um, so obviously there's still a long way to go. I'm still yet to witness much change occur within the city. But I like just seeing all the people walk. The hustle and bustle, trams passing by, buses passing by. Um, where else did I go today? In Darling Harbour, they're preparing for I think it's like a live show event because they'll, putting out like barriers and things on the grass, these like mini pads on the grass so people can stand. So I think there's some like live show going on in Darling Harbour tonight or very soon at least. Um, and yeah, Darling Harbour seemed to be pretty busy today. Even on a Friday, it was pretty busy. um, and yeah, that's been pretty much it. Is there any books I want to close here? All right, I can most probably close that Darling Harbour book. I really have nothing else to talk about it. I went through World Square today, but nothing interesting was there. The old monorail station's still there, so I can most probably close that book or recollection. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But yet again, though, I enjoy going to the city. Especially I guess if not just restricting what I saw today, but historically when I've have gone to the city, I do like going through like Hyde Park. It's a very nice scenic area. You get those trees, hanging above you. There's like I think they're plane trees, if that's the correct term. It's a very very nice walk. Lots of greenery, and I often like just to sit on a park bench and just read a book. Going to St. Mary's Cathedral, just on the outside, just seeing that massive cathedral. I do like taking pictures time to time, even though that cathedral is not likely to change its physical exterior. It's pretty much been the same for like 150 years, except when they added the spires on top of the cathedral in the year 2000. That's pretty much the only change that I know of. Even going along, because around that area, St. Mary's Cathedral, you also got New South Wales Parliament House, you got the old Mint building, you got the Sydney Eye Hospital, I think that's what it's called. All those buildings have been in place for like ages and ages. So it's very nice and scenic. Even though those areas aren't really likely to change, I still like to document it and go by those areas, because it's sort of like a time capsule piece. Even Martin Place, Martin Place really hasn't changed a lot. You still got like lot of old buildings there. Excuse me, nearly let out a burp. And I guess like Circular Quay, I didn't go by Circular Quay today, but historically speaking, when I've gone to Circular Quay, you do see new high-rises and new skyscrapers being constructed, and Circular Quay is another nice area as well. So yeah, it's just very specific areas of Sydney where there's like a lot of growth and development, meanwhile other areas have been pretty much the same. But yet again, that's all I want to document, really. And catching a train, throughout this city and all that. I didn't witness any delays or whatever, which is a miracle because usually there's like a delay or something wrong on a Friday night, naturally. But yet again, pleasant experience catching public transport today. And if I had to end this video, this is just my first video, like on I guess me recalling my experiences in and around the city. More likely there's going to be more, I guess, videos where I tell stories and sort of share experiences and vague recollections of me in the city, because yet again I go to the city a lot. I've got plenty of stories to tell, so I guess this can be like the introduction video to like that wider sort of series within a series, if you know what I mean. Um, and yeah, yet again, no, I feel like I go to the city way too much. I need to by way too much, I mean like at least like once a week. But you know, sometimes it could be like 2 or 3 times. And obviously, I don't have a full-time job in the city, so as someone who just goes to the city for fun, or just to like watch a movie or recreation, all that, it really is a lot. But yet again, I like to go to like the like inner city suburbs, you know, really explore. Um, but yeah, oh, actually, when I went to Town Hall Square, you know that mini like shopping strip inside of Town Hall Station. It's like underground. I saw there was a store right at the like sort of entrance of Town Hall Square that they were like removing the interior. I forgot what store it was. I'll most probably catch it next week or whenever I go back to the city. Actually, I'm going to the I'm going back to the city tomorrow to watch that new Detective Conan movie. So I'll stop by Town Hall Station and I'll see what store it was. But yeah, they were removing the interior. I think it was like some coffee shop. And obviously, you know, I've witnessed a lot of like stores shutter and open and then shutter again. There was actually an Oporto's. This is going to be my go-to example. In the galleries dining section, there was an Oporto's. And I remember that Porto's being like quite good. But I remember I ate at the Porto's like a week before it closed. And when it closed, I think it was around 2025. Like around mid 2025. I was like pretty gutted because I was like, that was my go-to Oporto's in the city. You know, the closest one would be, oh man, I think the one in um, what was it, Surrey Hills? Um, it's along the light rail, you know, not too far away from Central, but you know, you do have to take the light rail. Um, what other reporters are near the city? That's the only one I can think of, but I know there certainly is other reporters, but that was my go-to one because it was like right next to Town Hall Station. You know, you just exit Town Hall Station, you walk through a few corridors, and bam, bam, you're at the reporters. And I was you know, quite sad. Um, Obviously, I don't eat much of porters nowadays, but you know, that's one thing I've noticed. I guess isn't really going to be documented by history, but now I'm going to document it. There wasn't a Portos in the gallery's dining section that was pretty good and pretty convenient to access, but unfortunately, um, you know, it doesn't exist anymore. And yeah, what other? If I just, I know I'm gonna end this video, but if I had to think of one more shop that is like closed, and then a new shop is like taken over, um, I noticed like a few I can probably think of. Actually, the event cinemas on George Street. Obviously, you know, I wasn't there to witness this, but back in the 90s, event cinemas on George Street used to be a Hoyt, apparently. I don't know when the switch occurred, but now it's an event cinemas location, which I just find funny, you know, because Hoyts is the major competitor of event cinemas. So yeah, that used to be so event cinemas flagship location in Sydney used to be Hoyts. And the reason why I know that is because I remember, you know, there was an old Sydney bus ad from like the 90s, and there's like a shot of like that Hoyts in the background. I was like, oh, I recognize that building, you know, because it's in the city. I never knew that used to be Hoyts, you know, because nowadays I just view it as event cinemas. That's what it is now. Um, so yeah, like who knows what can happen in the city? I'm just here to document it, and that's sort of like my recollections of the city. I know I wasn't alive in the 90s, all right, but this is the store knowledge that has come to me throughout these last couple of years. But yeah, so my recollections of the city today, you know, being pretty much that, you know, me just walking around getting McDonald's and really going around Darling Harbour and Cockle Bay Wharf, especially because I know they're going to demolish. Apparently, they are going to demolish Cockle Bay Wharf in the next couple or so years. There are plans to demolish it, so I want to document that also. You know, because yet again, that building's, I think, around, it's certainly over 20 years old, maybe closer to 25 years old, 26 years old. So yeah, like that's going to be another building which is going to be gone in Darling Harbour. But I did go through that today, and yeah, it was just there's a lot of like bars and bistros and restaurants there. It's a very like food area of, I guess, Darling Harbour. And I know there's a bowling alley there also, on like the very, like on the ground level, because I've been there. So yeah, it's sad to see that go. You know, the building looks all right, but I guess um, you know, it's Darling Harbour. They're gonna constantly put in new buildings and re-improve the area. Even though I think they should have kept the Sega World and Old Sydney IMAX Theatre, because I'm an angry old man, and I like things the old-fashioned way. I don't know why I did that in like a like Scottish or Irish accent, whatever. Like, you can do a better old man voice. I really haven't put up my best game for my old man voice today. But anyway, I'm just going to leave it there. Yet again, thank you for watching. This has just been, I guess, the first entry within my recollections from the city. Stay tuned for more, and stay tuned for more JVE, Joshua's Video Extravaganza uploads, up until 2046. But anyway, catch you all later, and I'll see you next time. Bye, see you, take care. Catch you all tomorrow, and I should really stop saying catch it, because that's way too much.